Hey everybody, Tyler here. Welcome back to my channel. My friend Trevor and I are just finishing the High Sierra Trail. I hope this video helps you plan your HST and at the very least inspires you to get out in the backcountry and enjoy nature. All right, let's go. The High Sierra Trail is a breathtaking, long-distance hiking trail that traverses the stunning Sierra Nevada mountain range in California. Spanning approximately 72 miles, this renowned trail offers a thrilling adventure through some of the most pristine and awe-inspiring wilderness areas in the region. Beginning in the towering giant forest of Sequoia National Park and ending at the majestic summit of Mount Whitney, the highest peak in the contiguous United States, the High Sierra Trail takes hikers on a remarkable journey through diverse landscapes. Along the way, you'll encounter deep canyons, lush meadows, cascading waterfalls, alpine lakes, and rugged granite peaks that define the Sierra Nevada. The trail presents various challenges, including steep ascents and descents, river crossings, and high elevation gains, making it suitable for experienced hikers. However, the reward for tackling these obstacles is an unforgettable experience in one of nature's most remarkable settings. The trail offers solitude and serenity, allowing hikers to immerse themselves in the grandeur of the Sierra Nevada and discover hidden gems that few have the opportunity to witness. Throughout the trek, hikers may encounter a rich array of wildlife, including marmots, deer, black bears, and a variety of bird species, adding to the allure of the journey. Campsites and backcountry permits are required along the trail, ensuring a responsible and sustainable exploration of this pristine environment. Alright guys, so it is day one on the High Sierra Trail. My friend Trevor and I just got into our first camp here in Bear Paw. We did about 11 miles today, got a little rain here this afternoon, but I wanted to take this opportunity to show you some of the stuff that I pack, and this will be really good for someone who's a beginner or thinking about their first through hike or out and back hike where you're in remote locations and you need the proper equipment. I'll actually save my gear and food breakdown for another video. If it's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing to my channel. Okay, now back to the HST. Alright, it is day two on the High Sierra Trail. We started this morning at Bear Paw, where we camped last night. We did get rained on. We are now at Hamilton Lake, which lives up to its reputation. This is a beautiful lake. We're gonna hang out here for a few hours. We did about 4.2 miles this morning with a 1,300 foot elevation gain. Now it's time to rinse our clothes, do a little polar plunge, and relax for a bit. With a crisp alpine bath, cleaner clothes, and dry gear, we made our way up beyond Hamilton Lake. This is where the trail got a bit more difficult, not only steeper, but higher in altitude where the air is thinner. This is the lake just before Precipice. We're going to push on a little further. Hope the weather stays nice. As we got higher, we encountered large snow patches and poor visibility. Soon, the trail was completely covered by snow, and we really began to rely on the maps on my phone. For this hike, I was using AllTrails, but there are several options out there. It was safer and easier to climb over boulders than it was to navigate over steep, icy sections. Unfortunately, the weather is socked in up here. We weren't able to see Precipice Lake. To get past Precipice Lake early in the year, or on a year like 2023, we had a boulder alongside the trail, but I felt like that was easy enough. With more snowfields ahead, Trevor and I put on micro spikes over our shoes for better traction and to prevent slipping on the snow. Even with the wet weather, Big Arroyo was one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. Apparently, the mosquitoes really like Big Arroyo too. Alright, we tried 2 different campsites after the river crossing, and there's just so many mosquitoes, and this is our 3rd attempt, and there's still a ton of mosquitoes, so I think we're just gonna have to get used to mosquitoes tonight. The High Sierra Trail is not only a physical test, but also a spiritual and mental adventure that connects hikers with the raw beauty of nature. It provides a sense of accomplishment and a profound appreciation for the natural wonders that exist within the Sierra Nevada. Whether you embark on a multi-day backpacking trip or choose to section hike portions of the trail, the High Sierra Trail promises an experience that will leave you with memories to treasure for a lifetime. Okay, so we have reached decision point, and at this point you can continue on the traditional High Sierra Trail, or you can veer off to Moraine Lake. Moraine Lake is supposed to be very beautiful. However, we're going the traditional route today. It goes along 𝐒𝐒𝐒𝐿 Creek and is the official High Sierra Trail.
We met another group that was doing the HST, and they had camped one night at Moraine Lake. They said it was beautiful and no mosquitoes too. Whether you take the detour to Moraine Lake or stay on the HST, the trails merge again at Sky Parlor Meadow. As you make the steep descent into the Kern Canyon, all trails warn us to watch out for rattlesnakes. We didn't see any snakes here, but we did come across a lot of lizards. It definitely gets warmer as you drop into the canyon, and you will cross over Funston Creek twice. Once you've reached the bottom of the descent, there are camping sites at Upper Funston Meadow. However, these campsites are overused by horse packers and not in the greatest condition. I highly recommend you push on 1.8 more miles up the canyon to the Kern Hot Spring. As you hike along the Kern River, you may wonder how you will ever be able to cross it. Fortunately, there's a bridge approximately 1/2 mile before the hot spring. Don't forget to look back after you cross the bridge to get a look at 𝐒𝐒𝐑 Falls. Okay, so now you have arrived at the Kern Hot Spring. This is one of the highlights of the HST, so spend a little time relaxing those aching muscles. This is also the midpoint of the hike, so take a moment to pat yourself on the back. The water from the spring comes out at a scorching 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Some might like it that hot, but most will have to add a little river water to get it just right. There's a bucket and cooking pot by the spring for you to dial in the temperature. Just past the spring, there's a campsite with a bear box and a toilet nearby. I'd highly recommend staying here, but we still wanted to chip away at some miles. Feeling refreshed, we continued up the Kern Canyon. Our intent was to make it all the way to Junction Meadow. However, when we arrived to Whitney Creek, it appeared a bit menacing. It had been a long day, and neither of us wanted to be swept downstream by a swift current, so I went upstream to do a bit of reconnaissance. By the time I returned, Trevor was already unpacking his things, and I could tell he had had enough. And rightfully so. We had done 19 miles that day. The next morning I checked the water flow and conditions were still the same, so we made our way upstream to the log crossing I had found the evening before. We both made it over and continued our journey up the canyon. Soon we arrived at the John Muir Trail Junction. Quickly we noticed that there were many more hikers on the trail. The last couple days we had only seen a handful of people on the HST. We were now joined by many others going both north and south on the segment of the Pacific Crest Trail that also overlaps with the John Muir Trail.
Making the final ascent to Guitar Lake. As you can tell, it's a little windy up here. I'm already hearing some thunder. This will be as far as we make it today. We'll get an early start tomorrow and hopefully summit Mount Whitney.
As we arrived to stormy conditions at Guitar Lake, I totally expected to spend the rest of the evening sheltered in our tent out of the rain. An hour later though, the skies opened up and we had a gorgeous afternoon.
Whew, 3:23 a.m. Feel me? Woo! Okay, it's just before 3:30 a.m. here on our last day, leaving Guitar Lake, and we're going to head up to Whitney Summit. We're going to have a little pace and see if we can make it for sunrise.
The final turnoff to Mount Whitney is a spot where you can shed some weight by leaving your pack or bear canister. Just remember that the marmots here are known to chew into packs.
Okay, it's just past 5:30 and we're making our way up the final ascent to Mount Whitney.
Well, we didn't make it in time to see the sunrise from the peak of Mount Whitney. I'd estimate you'd have to leave Guitar Lake by at least 2 a.m. Nevertheless, the sunrise views along the way were still epic. The final approach to Mount Whitney involved a bit of snow travel, but nothing too difficult. Summiting is great, but you have to remember that the hike back down to Whitney Portal is still 11 miles. Add to that, we were a bit concerned by the snow crossings we would encounter on the other side. As we met people headed up the summit and learned about conditions, it sounded like we'd be okay. Earlier in the season, if you have the skills and equipment, you can skip the 99 switchbacks and enjoy a glissade down the chute. Rocks were starting to protrude, however, so this was no longer a viable option. Switchbacks it was. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you found it interesting, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel for more hiking content.
Alright, that's it. We have reached the finish line for the High Sierra Trail HST 2023. We are back at Whitney Portal where we left Trevor's car. And if you've ever finished a hike here at Whitney Portal, you know there's one more thing we've got to do.